Let the games begin. Zweite Session der Happy Bet German Darts Championship 2016. Und es geht los mit einem Familienduell. Er ist der 3 Jahre ältere von beiden, der World Masters Champion aus dem Jahre 2003 und dennoch, er steht über 100 Plätze hinter seinem kleinen Bruder. Die Rede ist vom Tornado T.West. Der kleine Bruder von T.West ist die aktuelle Nummer 50 der Welt und er hat beim World Grand Prix zuletzt für eine große Überraschung gesorgt, denn er schlug Phil the Power Taylor in Runde 1. Wir freuen uns, dass er hier in Hildesheim mit dabei ist. Steve, simply the West! Bei allen European Tour Events gilt die Distanz Best of 11 Legs. Man braucht also 6 Legs, um in die zweite Runde einzuziehen. Und auch herzlich begrüßen wollen wir den Caller dieser ersten Partie, Paul Hinks.
Welcome to Halle 39 in Hildesheim in Germany for the Happy Bet German Darts Championship, the final European Tour event of the year, the final Friday night of action on the Euro Tour of 2016. And this will see history made on the European Tour. This is Kane versus Abel, Peyton Manning versus Eli Manning, Steve versus Tony, as the Wests collide in the opening round of the German Darts Championship. I'm Dan Dawson to talk you through this one. The first time we've seen brothers go up against each other on the Euro Tour. We have seen brothers compete in the same event with Roby John and Roxy James Rodriguez. And they've met each other in qualifiers for these Euro Tours, but never actually on the big stage.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Steve to throw first. Game on.
I am Dan Dawson, Paul Nicholson alongside me for this historic occasion.
We don't get a derby match ever in darts. This is the equivalent of Newcastle versus Sunderland. And how does T.West celebrate his new management deal with Motorsports? He celebrates with a 180.
41.
Yes, indeed. Just announced today after what has been a brilliant few weeks for T.West in his darts career.
140.
He's been taken up by Motorsports, who look after the likes of Johnny Clayton, Mark Webster, Simon Whitlock,
58.
Robert Thornton. The faith has been repaid. And T.West now is ready
100.
to shoot forward with his career.
Well, T.West is playing the darts of his PDC career. We'd said a number of times
138.
that he'd been playing quite well and not
81.
winning games, but over the last couple of months, things have changed. Double 12 for an 11 darter. Double 6.
75.
Well, he'll come back looking at double 3, and nobody likes the double 3. Well,
I could name one person who
78.
kind of enjoys it.
Steve requires 6.
well, he can reach it at least. Double 3. Still double 3. Oh, dear.
4 scored.
Well, he's making hard work of this, T.West, having kicked off 180 on an 11 darter, and now finds himself in the madhouse.
78.
And his brother
Steve requires 2.
is just hanging around, just in case. Just in case. Oh, he takes it
From the
out.
first leg. Steve West. Second leg is
You can
Tony
feel
to
the
third
relaxed
leg.
nature
Game
of this
on.
game, and it should be anything but. There is something on the line in this game. It's not just brotherly pride and the fact that Steve is a qualifier who
96.
came through the British qualifiers and Tony came through the European qualifiers. T.West is not yet in the European Championships, and he needs to win this game.
Yes, he does.
119.
If he wins this game, then he'd go above Robbie Green. Robbie Green in that last position at the moment, level in the money with Steve West, but has a better countback. So that's the last 4 events on the European Tour. So he's done better, so that means that he would go above him despite having the same amount of money won. But Steve West, if he does win this, will just nip back in front of him. And it may end up being this weekend a straight race between Robbie Green and Steve West for that final spot. There's all kinds of other things that could happen.
It's looking that way because Brendan Dolan, he was on 6,500. He's been eliminated. Andy Bolton's been eliminated. But Steve West, the way he's playing, he's not going to be eliminated.
133.
Decent from Tony.
62.
But as long as West doesn't mess around on the doubles like he did in the first leg, huge opportunity for 2-0. And there it is. When he needed it, he did produce a 12-darter.
Third leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Well, it's been 13 years since Tony West picked up that World Masters crown. And everybody, upon everybody, over the last 10 years has said that Tony was the better player. Well, sorry, we have to be respectful to both guys now. Steve West has got the #1 spot in the West household now.
Certainly does at the minute. You only have to look what he's achieved over the last couple of months. He made his first PDC final, played Michael van Gerwen, 5-all, had 110 to win the match, win his first PDC title. First dart went in the 5. Can't do it. MVG went out, won it. But nobody had got close to MVG in those 3 days in Barnsley, apart from Steve West. Then he followed it up with a run to the semi-finals in Dublin, only losing out to Simon Whitlock. Then he made the Grand Prix by virtue of those performances. That is a 4th 180 for Steve West in 3 legs. And he beat Phil the Power Taylor in the opening round of the Grand Prix. Steve West is enjoying the best spell of his darting career in the PDC. That's just in the 1. And that's not the end of the world, because Tony's on a bogey number.
Well, the Tornado's not going to win this leg from this position, but Steve West could well be 3-0 up in the flash of a tornado if he hits tops when he comes back to the hockey. Well, we have to give Tony West some credit. He's actually qualified for the last 2 European Tour events, so maybe he's on his way back to best form.
Shot on the third leg.
But not right now. Steve West
Tony to throw first.
Really is in charge. And he's doing it quickly. He's playing exciting darts. He's not hanging around. This is the kind of darts that people want to watch.
Well, look, if you can make a final and a semi-final in quick succession, he's averaging 105 here nearly, and that first 9 is quite frankly astonishing. I know we're only 3 legs in, but drink that in. 4 180s he's hit.
Well, he was talking to the guys after the victory against Phil Taylor in Dublin, saying that his personal life is as good as it's ever been. Everything's happy there, and that's reflected in his form. And now
140.
He's got people who have got faith in him, sponsors and management now. What is this going to do for Steve West in the long term?
100.
He's 41 years old. He has been around a long time, and he has had success. He's won ranking titles in the BDO, not as many as his brother. There is the first 180 for Tony West. And of course, that World Masters title for Tony West will always, you can't take that away from him. He won that, and that is always going to be. Oh, look at this. That's another. This is madness.
This is like a practice at the West household, and they're just going, all right, let's have a bunch of 180s and stuff.
41, Steve Power 161.
Well, this would be an absolute peach if you could find this. Don't we know it?
Oh, well, the next 2 darts were perfect after a low first one, and Tony has to take this out. If he doesn't, he's in all kinds of problems. All kinds of problems.
30.
Massive problems now for Tony West. Steve West to turn the screw for 4-0 and a double break. This game is going one way at the moment.
Steve West. Steve to throw first.
That was a great guide, wasn't it, Dan? Yeah, we'll just stick one to the left and leave it open, and we'll hit it with the second one.
It's out of the way.
Yeah. I've got a funny feeling, that Steve's better darts. I mean, there's another one for you. I think this is going to be good for Tony West. I really do. Because he'll see that his brother's playing well. He'll find it motivational. And I think over the course of the next 6 months, you might see a resurgence from Tony, much like we've seen with Steve over the course of 2016.
50.
Well, started off with 5 trebles there, Steve West. Sadly, the 4th and the 5th one were both in the treble 5.
That's just showing off, that is.
He's not played that much proper
81.
competitive darts, Tony West. He's tried qualifying for a few of these Euro Tours. Obviously, he's made the last couple of the year, but he failed to get through the first 4. But Steve
58.
has been playing regularly on the pros. He's been playing all the events. And we've seen that if you do it week in, week out, playing the best,
80.
and you've got talent, it will raise your own level, or it can raise your own level. We've seen Mensur Suljovic, relatively late in life, blossom into a title-winning PDC dart player. And Steve West has probably got to look at somebody like Mensur and go, well, I'll go about it in a different way, but that is ultimately the goal. Get up there, win things, keep making semi-finals and quarter-finals and finals, and give myself an opportunity to be a title-winning player. And right now, he is looking every inch the title-winning player. That's another 14 darter, a 5-0 lead.
This is a great performance from Steve. And this is just going to add to his confidence. And it doesn't matter that he's playing his brother today. He just wants to beat him up, and he is doing that. And how? He's found something in his rhythm. And with this, I mean, this equipment he's been using exactly the same stuff for a while now. He was one to chop and change and try new things out, but over the course of the last 18 months, hasn't changed anything.
This is unreal. Steve West, that is 7 180s for Steve West. If Michael van Gerwen had thrown 7 180s in 6 legs, averaging 107 odd, and still only hitting 1 in 3 of his doubles, we'd be talking about this as a terrifying performance that will send a message out to the rest of the field.
Tony Ricard, 170.
He's going to get 2 match darts for a 6-0 win over his brother to put himself back in the places for the European Championship. This has been a stunning performance from Steve West, and he has annihilated his big brother. They share a hug, but my word, Tony West has been steamrolling by his little brother Steve, who has averaged nearly 110. Absolutely phenomenal. Steve West will face Stephen Bunting in the next round here, and I would not want to go up against that man in that kind of move. I suggest Steve West try and convince Stephen Bunting to wear a Tony West mask, because if he plays like that against everyone, he will win this tournament. Coming up next, Mervyn King, Mark Webster, and they've got some way to go if they're going to match that kind of performance that we've seen from Simply the West.
In diesem allerersten Duell innerhalb der PDC. Mann, Mann, Mann. Die müssen wir beide mal hier ans Mikrofon holen. Tony. That's your little brother. Huh? He played unbelievable. Average of 110.
There's not much I can do. I'm not at my best, right? Obviously, as you see. But yeah, he's on fire at the moment. And if he keeps playing like that, I'm very happy.
So you are 3 years older than him. When actually did he beat you that the first time? How old were he?
He never beat me in 10 years, but he's doing all right now. I think it's 10 years before I beat him now. Okay. So he's doing all right.
Steve, come to us. Ich kann das kurz übersetzen. Also zum einen sagt er hat nicht viel falsch gemacht. Das war einfach zu stark, dieser Auftritt von Steve. Und Steve konnte ihn anfangs nie bezwingen. Der hat ihn erst mit 10 oder mit 11 zum ersten Mal schlagen können. Ansonsten hat immer der größere Bruder Tony also dran. That was unbelievable, Steve. Average of 110.
I was nervous.
You were nervous. Why?
Because he's my brother, and I've always looked up to him, and he's won more majors. He's done a lot in darts, honestly, and I always look up to him. He knows that. He tries to rib me in the back, but you know, to come out here and play like that against him, I couldn't be more happy. You know.
That was the first match on the PDC circle between you guys. Yeah. What kind of feeling is it to play the brother?
It's not nice. It's not nice. I mean, he's on fire at the moment, and I'm just trying to do what I can, you know, to get back. I've not been very well, obviously, but he's playing brilliant, and it's great to see. I don't need him hitting the 110 averages against me. If you do it against everyone else, it's fine, but not against me. I hate show-offs.
Steve, was a great match. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow again. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Tony und T.West. Und sie sagen beide, das macht eigentlich keinen Spaß, gegen den Bruder zu spielen. Und Steve sagt eben noch, er war so unglaublich nervös. Ich habe das im Vorfeld so ein bisschen mitbekommen hinten im Players-Bereich. Es wurde wirklich nur rumgestachelt und Einspruch